League of Legends is a massively popular game. At the time I'm recording this intro, we got about 2.5 million people playing it, but that doesn't mean that the people that are here actually want to be here. League in my friend group goes by another, perhaps more apt name, Cock and Ball Torture. Every time I play this game, at the end of the night, there's at least one guy in call that's like drafting up his suicide note. You can just tell. But my cock is indestructible. You might catch me going solo queue norms on the weekends, and somehow, through some fucking miracle, I am having the time of my life out here. I think I'm the only guy that knows how to do that. Like, that's why I'm here. I'm gonna teach you how to have fun in League of Legends. Like, fucking trademark. Today we're going to be looking at Green Man. Zac is one of the most overloaded CC characters in the game if you can play him correctly. The amount of control you can have over the shape of a fight as a Zac player is just fucking stupid. And you can start shit out of nowhere from like a mile away. You have knockups, displacements, more displacements, sometimes on multiple targets, and sometimes even on multiple instances with just a single cast. In my opinion, this is one of the highest potential kits in the entire game, and that's coming from a guy who plays both Lee Sin and Viego. But sometimes fully meeting that potential doesn't quite translate into game impact. It doesn't matter how perfectly you set up a team fight. It doesn't matter how many people you knock up. In fact, it doesn't even matter if you play it literally flawlessly. Because right now, your ADC is farming the jungle. And also, he's like really mad at you because you last hit a ward 17 minutes ago. Now, a situation like this might prompt you to just pull out the fucking guap. And hey, I understand why you feel that way. Those emotions are actually really valid, and I don't fault you one bit for having them. But this is not how you deal with problems in life, man. Take a breath. Close your eyes. Just focus on my voice for a second and calm down. If you're gonna guap somebody, let's do it right. This build is fun, yeah, but the risk factor is just way too high to the point where even if you play it really well, there are gonna be some team fights where you're just mathematically fucked. And that's what we're trying to avoid, remember? So forget about all these greedy ass items. This is all pure hubris. We're gonna make a new Zac build through the power of managed expectations and cautious restraint. And that sounded a lot more exciting in my head, but we're still gonna do it. The core of this build and our first item is going to be Rift Maker. Starting with this means that we're already way safer than Glass Cannon Zac, and we've made some progress towards the identity of our build, which is maximum healing. I'm not fucking around, this really works for me. Because Zac has access to a good amount of extra health with his little gabagools, and that can be a huge asset no matter what you're building. But we're going to ramp it up a bit. Adding the healing from Rift Maker puts us in a position to play more fast and loose with our health total, because now we have more than just gooblets to replenish it. We're also taking Conqueror and Ravenous Hunter for 2 more sources of Omnivamp, and before you ask, yeah, I'm leaving out Taste of Blood.
Elaborate on that.
No, I won't.
Now, what I've mentioned so far is just the original sources of healing, but like, we got 5 items to go. And all of these items are going to be built towards trying to boost the effectiveness of the healing resources that we've already put in place. And there are 2 really simple ways to do that. One is by adding more AP for more healing per ability. And the other is by adding CDR for more abilities and therefore more healing instances and some more goop. But what if I told you could get a shitload of both at the same time? Boom, Cosmic Drive. I don't know how the fuck you can still get away with buying this item in 2021. Look at the stats you get. 80 ability power, 20 cooldown reduction, and 200 health. Plus, if you can get to 160 ability power, you get all this extra value, which I think I could probably find 160 AP between my fucking couch cushions if I looked hard enough. And this is all on one item that isn't even all that hard to build. It feels like you're cheating. Like, we're 2 items in and already we have all the tools we need to abuse the healing sources plus a nice chunk of health to go with it. Oh yeah, I meant that. The video's over. But hold on, because I want to interrupt this section and address one weakness to this build that I suspect many of you are screaming at the screen right now. What about Grievous Wound? Well, yes, if Caitlyn decides to buy Executioner's Calling, then you will be taking a bit of a value hit, and there will be some situations where you'll be boxed out of the healing that you need to get your maximum value in a team fight. But at this point in the game, I would wager that she doesn't have that Executioner's yet. And if she does, it's honestly her loss because it's likely cutting into her DPS budget. You, on the other hand, have a huge power spike that you can use to shift the game in your favor so that when she does get those Grievous Wounds, you're in a position where it doesn't really matter. And this isn't even mentioning the fact that if you're watching this in your elo, Caitlyn bought a Lich Bane anyway. So yes, Grievous Wounds do pose a problem to a healing-based build like this one. But it's not such a big problem that the build would just fall apart if one guy built a Thornmail. Okay, you've probably been waiting for this. Spear Visage. This amplifies self-healing from all sources and it gives you CDR.
Whoa, back it up there, Chauncey.
So it's the perfect item, right? Kinda. I found that the second half of the game for healing Zac requires a lot of versatility and decision making when it comes to items. Sometimes you do need the tank items, and Spirit Visage is clearly going to be a good option for that, along with Abyssal Mask and Thornmail or even Demonic Embrace. But sometimes you just gotta look around at your situation and say, fuck it. Horizon Focus is a good pick because you have 3 different abilities you would have to whiff to miss out on this passive. And 6 seconds of extra damage is gonna make a huge difference on a target that's gonna be fucking CC locked for the next 3 weeks anyway. On top of that, you also get 115 AP on a single item, which I'm sure I don't have to remind you is going to up your healing more. And if you decide to go through with the death cap, that's gonna put your total AP at 578. Now, if you're the type of person that has a hard time making sense of these numbers and understanding exactly what it means to have 578 AP, then let me put this into perspective for you. Alright, so I'm here with the 5 items that you should be buying on AP Zac, like the healing shit that I've been talking about. I set up my girlfriend with 5 items and a couple of dragons. Okay, babe, are you ready?
Ready.
Oh god, I think I killed her in real life! Stop the video! She's not breathing! The strategy behind healing Zac isn't much different from tank Zac. The big difference is you have to go apeshit. Everything feels like it's going faster, and that's because it is. You are in the middle of the team fight, and chances are, for like a second or two, you're gonna be the only guy in there. So either you gotta kill everyone right away, or... No, that's your only option. If you don't dish out damage, you don't get any health back and they can just kill you outright. So you have to be aggressive to stay alive. It's completely backwards, but like in the best way possible. This build is kind of like taking the shield away from you in Bloodborne and adding in the rally system to compensate. Zac is truly the Dark Souls. Now this game plan is all well and good, but not every team fight looks like this. If you want to survive as AP Zac, like out in the wild, you're gonna need to study the Zac orthodoxy, and that's what I'm here for. Here's something easy to start out with. Q then E. You're not gonna believe me, but 80% of Zac players don't know how to do this, and it's a 2-button combo. First of all, stop using your skill shot Q on champions unless it's completely fucking necessary. You can't hit skill shots, and I am talking directly to you. Christian, age 12, from Mississippi. You cannot hit skill shots, and that's why we're gonna be aiming this Q at a minion. Once you do that, you can just auto them one time for a guaranteed displacement, and then when they're in place, you can point blank E them, and there's no escape from that if you time it right. I see so many dumb fucks in Norm gank a lane from behind the enemies, like at advantage, then waste their gap closer immediately just because that's how you do it, right? No, and that shit's not gonna happen in your games anymore, right? Matthew, age 17, from Phoenix, Arizona. I'm not gonna see you doing that shit, right? Okay, now we gotta talk about the gooblets, mainly the fact that you are ignoring them right now, and I can't keep watching you leave perfectly good heals on the table anymore. This is another extremely basic thing that I see too many solo queue players forget about in my games, and like this one I really don't understand. You guys have been picking these up in the jungle the whole game. Do you really think that stops at a team fight? Absolutely not. These guys should all just be big fucking wolves to you. And that means the gooblet duty never stops. And this is a good time to mention that like, Zac is hard. Especially AP Zac. You gotta nail all your shit, and some of it's harder to land than it looks. But you also gotta manage the gooblets and track your enemies with your ult. Plus, a good Zac player will always build CDR, and that means you gotta hit more abilities per second and manage all the extra gooblets that come along with those abilities. Add on the stress of a smaller health bar and an aggressive game plan, and you've got yourself one of the most difficult and yet most rewarding builds I've ever featured on the channel. Truly, healing Zac is the dark. So with all that in mind, let's take a look at his longest combo, which also happens to be your bread and butter, so it's a 2-for-1 deal. Use E to engage, then cast your W while you're landing to guarantee that it hits. Then when they're still in the air, use your first Q on them and your second Q on his friend to corral them both together, and then immediately cast ult to damage and knock back both your targets. Then chase down the high priority target with the rest of your ult. Remember, you can still cast W while you're ulting, so make sure you keep that in mind during the chase. All of the inputs in this combo are guaranteed to land if you hit E, which means they don't get to move until their health is already down to like 15 or 20%, and this isn't a conditional combo. This is gonna be what you're shooting for in just about every situation where you can't lead with the Q, and people fall for it over and over again. The range that you have on E gives it this insane surprise factor to the point where some people don't even realize what's happening until they're already in the base buying a longsword. And even if they did realize it, like what difference does it even make? There's only one thing that you can do to get out of this combo, and that's DDoS the guy that's performing it. Zack is not a great duelist before he gets his items, so I recommend you either do a 5 can't clear like this or a 6 can't clear like this. Keep a lookout for early improvised ganks because a knockup and a displacement in the early game can just be game over for a character with 600 health, but if nothing looks good, then try to get whichever scuttle isn't being contested. If you try to fight someone for scuttle, they will put you in the fucking dirt, so just keep your head down and be a good boy till you get your first paycheck. With some AP under your belt, you'll be able to take some fights, but only under explicitly advantageous situations, because again, if you try to fight a real jungler head on before Cosmic Drive, you are going into the dirt realm. Dragon and Herald are surprisingly not as much of a nightmare as I anticipated, but still not great, and I would recommend either waiting for priority or completely conceding these objectives to keep farming up on jungle monsters. And as always with the farm strategy, if your team is flaming you, just report them for hate speech and tell Riot they said the N-word. Your clear can actually get really fast because you got a lot of AoE shit and Riot was not ready for you to build a leeching leer and a blasting wand. You can stay on pace with all the hyper farming junglers and probably outgank them too because you have all this value early from your CC. And if the enemy jungler is like a Lee Sin type, then just wait him out and beat him in a skirmish with your CS lead. Now there is one way out of the farming route if that's not your thing, and that is camping. Zack is especially good at making repeat ganks on a single lane because you can reposition so quickly with E. If you try to camp someone as Garen, they're just gonna be like, oh look, it's Garen again, that's cute. But if you're camping somebody with Zack, it's always gonna be, are you serious? You gank them once to waste a flash, then go farm for 2 seconds, and then come back and gank them again like 40 times in a row. I promise you, if they don't quit the game, they're gonna wish they did. When I was in the lab devising this build, I thought it was gonna be completely fucking useless. But it turned out to be one of the most fun builds I've ever tried in League. If I wasn't trying to fish for the next video topic, I would be playing it right now, and you would all be watching better content. These items turn you into a goddamn hydrogen bomb, and that is especially brutal on a character that is actively CCing you while he's one-shotting you. Every time you jump into a fight with these items, it feels like you might get a pentakill, even if you're just taking down one guy on a suicide mission. And to that, let me just say, never stop dreaming. Because one day, we'll all have the nerve to go through with our suicide plans.
What's wrong?
You're gonna jump on me.
What?
You're gonna jump on me.
No.
I know you're gonna jump
No.
on me and
Calm down.
squash me like a bug.
Oh, God.
Please stop.